If you guys want some gamer subs, make sure to use code GM for 10% off. Yo, what's going on, guys? It's G Miners here. This video is all about getting you guys some juicer day one raid teams. And even if you don't do day one raids, this will still help you find some solid players to raid with. So if you find yourself here for that reason, make sure to stick around. I personally started doing day ones and taking them seriously in Beyond Light with Deepstone Crypt, where I put together my original squad, and since then I have put together a second roster for my clan so that we now have 2 teams running each day one. This second team was put together only a couple months before Vow of the Disciple came out, and they were able to get a solid clear, so I'm going to run you guys through everything you should be doing to get yourself on a team that is capable of clearing the next raid, which will either be King's Fall or Wrath of the Machine. To keep this video simple, I'm breaking it into 3 parts. First is deciding if you should be finding a team to join or if you should be searching for players to join you. Second, you will need to know how serious you want to take the day one, which is mostly going to come down to your skill level in game and where you would like to place. This will then determine the players that you will want to look for. And then lastly, I'm going to be showing you how I go about finding good players and what you should also be looking for, and how to avoid some pretty major red flags. Also, since there is a lot to cover, if you guys do have any questions you want me to answer in detail, I do stream over at twitch.tv/gminers, so you can always stop by and ask me there too. Okay, so for step 1, should you be joining a team or should you be hosting a team? Hosting a team sounds kind of weird, but it just means that you are looking to bring players into a clan or a pre-existing group. Both options have a few pros and cons. In general, if you are a solo or are looking to raid with just yourself and 1 or 2 other friends, then I would recommend looking to join a team. I think this tends to be a much easier process than finding people to join you, but you're going to have less control over the people you are playing with. After all, you could join a team as a solo player and have no idea who else is going to be on the squad. If you happen to already have 3 to 5 people that you know you want to raid with, then this is where I would recommend just hosting a team. That way, you only have a few slots to fill, and your team can filter who they want to join in terms of personality, skill level, time zones, playstyle, you name it. The downside to this option is it tends to be more tedious to find people who are right for you and your group just by posting in LFG Discords and other places, so this method takes some more time. Decide what's the best option for you, and at the end of the day, if you need to switch from joining a team to hosting a team, do it. The next step is by far the most important step. Determine how serious you want to take the day one raid. I'm going to break this up into 4 different tiers, 4 being the lowest and least serious, and 1 being the highest and most serious. At tier 4, this is going to be for players who, at a bare minimum, just want the day one clear. This could take up to 24 hours, but you just want the clear. At tier 3, this is going to be for players who want a clear without having to deal with the headaches of getting majorly stuck on an encounter. They don't want any crazy weak links on their team and will settle for a clear around the placement of the first 1 to 2,000 teams. At tier 2, this is now for players who are well experienced in endgame content and they want to get a clear that they are proud of. This is usually right behind some of the best teams in the world, some top streamers, and this is around the 200 to 500 placement range. And then at tier 1, this I would say is for players who want to place top 50 and above. With each tier briefly laid out, a standard piece of information that is used when joining or hosting teams is sharing raid reports. I'm not saying that a player's raid report means everything, but it's a decent baseline to understand how good someone is going to be at PvE. There will always be players who have great raid reports and are trash, and there's always going to be people who have trash raid reports that are actually god tier. If you would say that you fall under tier 4, in general, I would say that you should be looking for other players that have between 20 and 50 full raid clears. Most of these players are going to fall in the gold or platinum ranks. And then on top of this, I would also look for some week 1 clear tags. Most of these players are not going to have flawless raid tags or low man tags, and in general, if they have a higher speed rank, I would say this is good because it at least tells you that they clear raids with a decent level of efficiency. Under tier 3 is where we ramp it up a notch. I would say that in general, you are looking for players in the high plat to low diamond range. This is the top 10 to 2% of players, which is around 200 to 400 raid clears in total. For tags, you're going to be looking for each player to have at least a few low mans or flawless raid clears. Additionally, if players have previous day 1 completions, that is a huge bonus. Once again, a higher speed rank is what you want for most players, which is in the mid to upper plat range, but in this case, I would always take someone with a previous day 1 clear over a high speed rank because it shows that they can play in under power content. You also want to see that these players have gotten a few master clears for raids. 1 or 2 raid clears should be fine. Master clears are not say all be all because you can easily get up to the power level of the master raid, but in general, people are doing these while under power as well. For tier 2, this is where you now only want players who are clearly good at raiding. I would definitely ignore speed and total clear ranks at this point. Really, what you want to pay attention to is that these players have decent tags on their raid reports. This should be multiple day 1 clears or at least some more impressive day 1s. If these players don't have day 1 clears, that is when you should look to see if they have multiple low mans and different flawless tags. People might not have been around for day 1s when they launched, but multiple low mans shows that they can master multiple different raids and they aren't getting low man clears off of flukes or just checkpointing to final bosses. Once again, players with some master raid clears is also a good indication that they'll be able to play under power. I would say at this level, 5 to 10 master clears is good. Most people don't farm master raids too much, and they more so focus on doing individual encounters and challenges, which is why a lot of top players will have low master clears. And then finally, for tier 1, chances are absolutely nobody watching this video is putting together a team to go for a top 50 clear, but if you are, this really comes down to your own evaluation. Unlike all the other tiers, something I do like to look for is low man flawless clears, like a trio flawless. This is a great indicator that players can stick day 1 raids out because you only ever get a low man flawless by beating your head against the wall and learning how to low man a raid to perfection. Also, higher tier raid day 1 placements are great to see here too. As I said before, raid reports do not always give you the full picture. These are just baselines to use in my opinion, but they are good enough to give you a general idea of how someone is going to play. If you are trying to put together a decent team and someone who has 10 raid clears and no tags applies, chances are they aren't exactly what you're looking for. Okay, so now that you hopefully know what level of team you want to raid with, how do you actually find these players? I will have a link in my description below to the LFG Discord server. Now, before everyone says LFG is toxic or people in LFG suck, they don't. All you need to do is look in the right places and respond to the right posts. Once you are here in the server, head down to the clan recruitment page. Here, you will find literally hundreds of clans posting each day looking for new players. And if you want to host a team, you can just post here as well. The first thing that you want to do is look for teams that are recruiting players for endgame PvE and day 1 raids. In just a second of looking, I found a near perfect clan with no noticeable red flags. Their post highlighted that they wanted end game players who were interested in day 1 raiding. Posts should always have a direct link to their clan page, and on that clan page, you can see a bit more of what they are about. From here, I usually check out the clan leader, which will give me his account name and tag, and then I put that into raid report to see where they're at. Just by looking for a minute, it looks like he would fall under the tier 4 or maybe tier 3 area with a decent amount of raid clears, 1 flawless raid tag, and a few master clears. Now, I don't know if this person will be on the day 1 team for their clan or anything like that, but I can always check out a few more players and then decide if these are people I'm interested in playing with. Ideally, when you're looking, you just want to look for posts that are actively looking for day 1 players. So I always just hit Control F and then type in day 1 to filter the results. Endgame, as I mentioned, is another great thing to filter by. And then after you find posts that seem like they are a good fit, just start DMing people. And obviously, if you decide to post and recruit players yourself, just wait for people to respond. I figured I would also mention that just because this is the clan recruitment page doesn't mean that you actually need to join different clans to play with people. Most people are perfectly willing to run a day 1 with non-clan members. 2 major red flags to avoid are clans with lengthy and hardcore requirements and raid reports that have players in the master rank or above for total raid clears. These tend to be signs of toxic players because they are elitist with their requirements, and in general, the clear farming community is also very toxic. That is everything you should need to know in order to put together a day 1 team. Obviously, chemistry and having positive vibes are always going to be something you want to have on your team, but until you start messaging people and playing with them, you can't really get a feel of what they're like. I hope this video helps some of you guys find a perfect squad for you. I know I highlighted some red flags to look out for, but in general, a lot of the best players in the community are extremely humble and are extremely fun to play with. Getting a good day one clear also comes down to a lot of factors other than having the best players on your team, so just keep that in mind. And let me know if this video helped you guys out in the comments below, because that honestly makes my day. As always, have a good one, guys. Peace.